Shalom, and welcome to Grid Down Cooking, where we are on a journey searching for the best cooking and most resource-conservative methods of food preparation for use in a grid down, end of the world as we know it, SHTF type of scenario. And today, we're going to make a very simple recipe, fried eggs, where we'll be going from this, to this, and finally to this. And for today's part of our journey into off-grid cooking, we will visit our on-site egg factories, which is the source of our 2 eggs. Okay, let's talk about our recipe for a minute or two. The skillet in the picture is a Lodge carbon steel skillet, and in some future videos, we hope we will be trying to use cast iron skillets, stainless steel, some of the non-stick stuff, which I don't really like, but we'll try it for these purposes of grid down cooking, and maybe some other various types of frying pans, and maybe even on rocks. We'll see. Try different methods, but today we're sticking with the carbon steel skillet. Also there on the table, in the pan for now, are the 2 eggs that we gathered just a few minutes ago before frying them. One of those 2, if you remember, was just produced in the egg factory right before we got the egg. A bit about eggs. When we find ourselves in a grid down scenario, your best, in my opinion, your best source for eggs are going to be your own chickens. And then at times when the chickens are not laying, will be the time then to get into your dried eggs, powdered eggs, freeze-dried, and so on, those kinds of things. And we will, in future videos also, hopefully we'll be looking at frying eggs, making scrambled eggs, and all different kinds of egg recipes with the dried powdered eggs and so forth. But for today, we're sticking with the real thing. Okay, the salt and pepper are for taste, and of course you may like any number of other toppings. If you do, just be sure to include them in your storage foods. The olive oil is the oil I'm using for the cooking. I know it is not a long-term storage item. I don't know the shelf life of olive oils and the other oils. I'll be working on that and trying to let you know what I find. But still, olive oil is an option for a short-term or a medium-term time period. Of course, you can use other sources of the liquid material for your frying. I'm not sure what the proper term for frying liquids might be. And of course, longer term options are available, such as butter and rendered animal fats, and we will explore all these too in future videos. But for today, we're sticking with the olive oil. The spatula is plastic or rubber instead of metal, because we're using a carbon steel skillet, and we use those much the same way as we would a cast iron skillet. And all this is sitting on a stainless steel table with firebrick panels that I got from a discarded manufactured fireplace. Our stove for today is the firebrick panels, and over those I have paving stones that I use to put the skillet, or to set the skillet over the fire. The fuel is a mixture of dead ragweed stalks, pencil-sized twigs from a tree that I cut down, and a few pieces of 2x4 leftovers from a project that I did a few days ago. And I used hay, dry hay, as the tinder. I used a cigarette lighter to start the fire with. Of course, I could have used a ferrocerium rod, flint and steel, or even a bow and drill. All these would have been more resource conservative than the lighter as far as the fire starting goes. But in a real SHTF situation, time and people will also be a very important resource, and maybe our most important resource. And the lighter certainly would save on time. So to get our 2 eggs, we visited our on-site egg factory, where I found one of our barred rock hens sitting on the nest. And shortly after she got up off the nest, I found these. I also went to another nest where I found one of our Rhode Island Reds on a different nest. And when she got up from the nest, I found this. These are our 2 eggs for today. And so now to get from those to this, our cooking area. A stainless steel table with firebrick panels on it. I put 4 paving stones, 2 on each side, to set the skillet on. Lit the fire, put a 5th brick across the back, added the skillet, put the oil in the skillet, added the eggs, and yes, nearly as quick as you're seeing the pictures, they were ready to be put in the plate, of which soon afterwards I cut them up, put the salt and pepper on it, and there we go. I enjoyed my eggs. And now it's time for cleanup. Some final observations and conclusions. There's very little time from start to finish. I didn't measure the time, but we will try to add in a time feature in future videos. The fire seemed to burn pretty hot for such a small fire of twigs. The carbon steel skillet got hot much quicker than cast iron does. I don't yet know how it compares to other types of skillets. We'll find out. And also, I fixed 2 eggs, but several eggs could have been fried or fixed without hardly any more time being required. I did measure the fuel that was used, but there was hardly any at all. Again, in future videos, we'll try to keep track of the amount of fuel for various types of methods and pots and pans. And again, this could have been expanded to 12 or more eggs with very little increase of our resources, which were already very minimal. All in all, an easy recipe, very little time and resources, could be expanded greatly without much increase in resources, including time. So, thank you for watching, and join us again on our grid down adventures. Thank you.